Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. This is a stock market update for the week ending Friday, August 22nd. And I need to pull this back up. We're going to start off here with the ETF dashboard. So, of the four major sectors I watch, one was negative this week. And surprise, surprise, it was the Qs, down about 1% almost. The Russell 2000, very strong, up 3.4%. Everything is positive on the year, with the Qs continuing to lead, up almost 12% on the year. When we look at the 16 sectors that I look at, everything is positive on the year now. We've got healthcare is finally crawling into the positive territory. This last week we had 13 up and 3 down. Of the 3 that were negative, it was kind of interesting because look what, with the Qs, XLK was the most negative. The semiconductors was the second most negative, and then communication services was slightly in the red also. The two strongest, energy and home construction, was almost a dead hot tie in here. I mean, it was almost identical, which was kind of amazing. So kind of an interesting week. And, as I thought about the week, I really thought, we really had a mini tech wreck going on. And of course, Friday kind of salvaged quite a bit of the week with the bounce that happened here on Friday. But, it's not really surprising that we got the kind of bounce that we did, given that we were down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row on the Qs. I mean, 6 days in a row. And similar type of thing, maybe not every day on the SPY, maybe not every day on the Dow, but I think we had lower highs on almost everything. So we got the bounce on Friday, but, we'll see where this goes. It just looks, we haven't, the one thing when I look at the Qs in here, we don't have a lower low. We still have higher highs and higher lows. We really haven't rolled over yet. So we'll see where we go. And everybody, is looking now into September. That they're thinking, okay, now we're going to get a Fed cut based on the language that was mentioned by Chairman Powell on Friday from Jackson Hole. And then when you come back and say, okay, well, when was the last time we got a Fed cut? Well, it was right here on December 18th. So, going into the Fed meeting in December, we were sitting right here, and a couple months later, here's where we're sitting. And a couple months later, here's where we are. So I don't know how much magic a Fed cut in September is going to create. We'll see what happens. But right now, we just haven't seen the Qs roll over. But there was quite a bit of damage going on underneath the covers when you take a look. So let's look at, start off with the semiconductors, SMH. So this came really, really close to putting in a lower low. Didn't quite get there. It was up $6.18 on Friday. And for the week, it was just slightly negative. And when we look at XLK, it's a little more negative in here. This actually did go to a lower low, I believe. Maybe not though. Let me look. I think 255.78 and 255.84, so we were 6 cents above the low. So we're just right there. We did not get a lower low on XLK, at least not yet. So we'll see what kind of follow through we get this coming week. We got a little bit of a moving average cross. We definitely have divergence that we've been dealing with for quite a while over the last several weeks. We just haven't really broken down a whole lot yet. But when you dive in and take a look at some of these big high flyers that really have been rolling, I've got several of them in my favorites list that I look at very closely every day. So let's look at Nvidia. So Nvidia was up $3 and a penny on Friday, and it had been breaking down for several days starting the prior week. This is the first lower low that we've seen in here since, just look back. First lower low on a pullback since April, okay? And now we're getting a little bit of a moving average cross. So we'll watch and see how much further damage do we get in here on Nvidia. Oracle is the next one I've got on my list. Oracle's a little more negative, a little more of a breakdown in here. Could possibly be getting support, the 55-day moving average. But it definitely looks like it's been rolling over, starting to get very much a rounded type of look to the top. Palantir, more negative. This was really getting hammered from the high on the 12th, which was a week ago Tuesday, and then they just hammered it for the last 2 weeks, basically, or a week and a half. And, you know, this almost looks like kind of an exhaustion gap, very similar to what I was showing on Meta and Microsoft. And I showed this either last week or the week before. And so, you know, wait a minute, let's go back to Palantir. So this could very well, it filled pretty quickly, let's put it that way. So again, it's to be seen. Do we get support in here at the 55-day moving average and bounce? But this definitely got a pretty good hit. Then the last one I'll mention is Google. And Google is maintaining, you know, its higher highs, higher lows in an uptrend. But the thing that jumped out at me with Friday's price action is it broke above prior 20-day high, okay? Like it's done, you know, many times along the way in here. But it failed to hold it on the close. And I view that as not great. If you can't hold it on the close above that prior 20-day high, that's a negative in my book, and we'll see what happens this coming week. Okay, that's it for this video. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone, have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.